Rae. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today I want to talk to you guys all about flashbacks, give you some information on what flashbacks are, and if you have somebody in your life who has PTSD and get PTSD flashbacks and you just want to understand them, then you are on the right video. Or if you get flashbacks and just want to understand them a little bit more, this is the video for you. So that's what we're talking about today. Let's just jump straight into it. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications of when I upload, and let's get straight into talking about PTSD flashbacks. What is a flashback? It is when you vividly re-experience a past traumatic event. You can relive parts of that event or all of it, and it can last a few seconds to several hours. Flashbacks are a common symptom of PTSD. That stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And PTSD is a mental health condition that is triggered by a terrifying event, either experiencing it or witnessing it. And PTSD will affect 6.8 of the world's population. And flashbacks can occur suddenly and unexpectedly. When it comes to PTSD, I do not have a specific video just talking about PTSD, going in depth about it yet. I will be here in the near future, but until then, I do have 3 videos answering an array of questions on the topic of PTSD, some really good questions, which I will link those 3 videos in the description box down below if you want to check them out. Now, the big thing to know about flashbacks is that it is more than a memory. It involves emotional and physical sensations. Now let's talk about what flashbacks can be like, what you could possibly get when dealing with flashbacks. So you can see complete or partial images, hear sounds or words. You can experience physical sensations like pain or being touched. You can feel the same emotions or body reactions as you did during that event. You can feel confused about what's happening during a flashback. I have PTSD myself, and I do get flashbacks. When I get flashbacks, I do not see complete or partial images. I will hear sounds. I will get physical sensations, like sometimes I will feel like being touched. I will get like emotions. I will feel scared, or like the same emotions I felt when the event that happened to me was happening. I was SA'd. If you don't know what that means, it is on screen now. And I also get nightmares, which are very similar to flashbacks, but you are sleeping. I do have a video on nightmares, PTSD nightmares, and I will link that video in the description box down below if you want to check that video out as well. So when it comes to flashbacks, you may also experience dissociation, which is feeling disconnected from thoughts, emotions, memory, and identity. Now, there is something I really wanted to touch on in this video, and that is, how do flashbacks work? What happens in our brain that causes us to have flashbacks? Why does it happen? So, memory is very complex, and it involves many parts of our brain. But there are 2 parts within our brain that I want to specifically talk about that are very important when it comes to flashbacks, and that's the amygdala and hippocampus. So the amygdala is the emotional memory part of our brain, especially in the making of the fear type memory. It ensures our survival by encoding certain dangerous and painful memories, so we will recognize the threat and respond differently. The hippocampus is the brain's historian, which catalogs all our experiences in great detail. So these two typically work together to take moments and turn them into lifelong memories. But, here's the but. In a traumatic event, everything changes. When you're in danger, you go into that fight or flight mode. The amygdala steps up and the hippocampus suppresses, resulting in jumbled memories. So once the threat has passed, you are left with these strong negative emotional memories and lack of clear recollection of the event, which is why later on, if we encounter something that reminds us of that event, the amygdala retrieves that memory and signals danger. So that is what happens with flashbacks. Why we get flashbacks the way we do, because the brain ends up not working correctly. I just find it so interesting. I figured I would share that with you guys. Let's move on to triggers. So triggers are anything from person, place, thing, or situation. Remember, they're reminders of the event that happened. And they may be things that you may or may not realize are triggers. So, examples, right? Seeing someone that looks like or reminds you of the perpetrator. Driving or walking past the place where the event took place. Watching a TV show that can bring back memories. Conversations. Reading a certain book or listening to certain music. And emotions, internal feelings, and sensations can be triggers as well. The biggest thing to know is triggers are unique to every single person. No one is going to have the same triggers. So what are triggers for me may not be triggers for you. Let me give you some of my trigger examples, okay? Some things that are triggers for me are seeing vehicles that are the same vehicles he drove. Driving past places where we went. Listening to a certain song. There's a certain AC/DC song I can't listen to because that's a song we talked about. So conversation. We talked about this specific song. So hearing it, I can't do it. Certain scents, things like that can give me flashbacks. But they're never, again, visual. They're hearing and sensational. So, triggers, they're unique. So let's talk about ways to deal with flashbacks when they're occurring and after. So, the big thing they always tell you to do is to remind yourself that it's just a flashback. That's always difficult for me to do personally because it's so real and it's just difficult because there's so many emotions tied with it that it always typically for me helps when I'm brave enough to call somebody and they talk me down, you know, they bring my heightened emotions down. So I do want to add that to remind yourself that it's just a flashback, just a case, because, you know, some things that might not work for me may work for you and vice versa. Using mindfulness, I will forever tell everyone that DBT skills, dialectical behavioral therapy, which is mindfulness, is so helpful. Go on Amazon and get a mindfulness book and learn mindfulness. It will help so much. It teaches you different coping skills, and the coping skills are so helpful. In the description box, I will link a few websites to different mindfulness exercises, different coping skills that I think can help. I also have a few videos of my own talking about different coping skills. I will link. So double check the description box, see if anything will help. So, but a few mindfulness, I think I'll just say, is distraction. So music, TV shows, And there's going to be a few that I'm going to talk about here in a moment. But also, there is one, I'll show you, it's a kind of a breathing exercise, but it's my favorite breathing exercise, because when you're in a flashback, you are in heightened emotions. So I do believe trying to bring your heightened emotions down will help a lot. So trying to do this pumpkin breathing exercise is great. So what you do is you draw a pumpkin. So you draw kind of one side of the pumpkin and then the other side, and you just draw the pumpkin. Such a great artist, right? And you can do this with any object as long as it has like the ups and downs. So when you draw up, you breathe in, and when you draw down, you breathe out. So breathe in, and you just sit there and continuously draw. Breathe out. And you breathe in, you breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And you just completely keep going until you feel at ease. And I can't tell you how many pumpkins I have, and you just keep drawing. So that is a great one to do. Others are to do some grounding exercises, which in the description box down below I am going to link a grounding website that lists a bunch of different grounding skills that you can do, and at the end of the video I'm going to name a few of them, so definitely check those out. Another one you can do is journaling. You can journal what happened, what coping skills you used, what triggered you, just so you can follow along and really help better understand your flashbacks. It definitely helps you, and it even helps you understand your triggers more, because that'll help you kind of prevent these flashbacks from happening more often, I should say. Focus on your breathing. I mean, that is a big thing, because that can distract you from a lot. If you really focus on your breathing, you can come down to the present moment. Carry an object. I have talked about this a lot. My necklace, I rub on it whenever I'm anxious. This necklace, it helps me be present and remind myself, okay, I'm here, like, they can't get me, I'm not in the past, I'm here. This connects me to the present moment, that I'm not in the past. I'm not where my memory thinks I'm at, where my mind thinks I'm at. I'm not in the past, because here in a moment I'm going to read you guys a quote, and it best describes you how flashbacks make you feel, and how I feel. Like, this describes it so perfectly. Like, the past is pulling you in one direction, the present's pulling you in another. Having an object like this helps remind you, okay, I'm here in the present moment, I'm not in the past. So that can help you. There is something you can do called the 5 senses. Look around the room and list what you see. You can breathe and focus on the smells that you smell. You can listen to music or listen to what you hear and list that off. Drink and eat mindfully, which is to chew slowly and observe all that you taste or all that you taste, and then hold something and really observe what you're feeling. Also, comfort yourself with a blanket. Wrap yourself in a blanket. Wrap yourself in a blanket and watch a movie or listen to music. You know, there's a lot you can do to bring yourself down from a flashback. And then, of course, always having your support system, having somebody you can go to help remind yourself you're here, you're not there. Now let's talk about prevention. Big thing again is to be aware of your triggers. Write them down so you're aware of what triggers you have, and then you can start to live around them and live your life more fuller. Like, for instance, I know there's a certain building that triggers me. I avoid going a certain route that takes me there. know your triggers. Pay attention to warning signs. When you start feeling a certain way that you know that, because there's certain feelings that you start to feel before a flashback starts to come on. Once you start observing those warning signs, that you're starting to feel panic and all this other warning signs, the fuzziness, the disassociation, the out of touch, the wanting to isolate, do something about it. Start to prevent, talk to somebody, ground yourself, speak to somebody you trust, like I just said, and take care of your health is very important. Go see a doctor, or definitely take care of your health. You never know what a doctor might be able to help you with. And the last few things I want to say is that feelings are all-consuming, intense, and often debilitating. I told you guys that there was a quote I wanted to read that I feel exactly describes PTSD and what flashbacks feel like. Now, I can only say that from my point of view. I can't speak for other people. But again, as somebody who has PTSD and gets flashbacks myself, I know this is how I personally feel. So I thought I would read it to you guys. So it goes like this. I feel like I am straddling a timeline where the past is pulling me in one way and the present is pulling in another. I see images and noises burst through. Fear comes out of nowhere. My heart races, my breathing is loud, and I no longer know where I am. I think that encompasses exactly how I feel with PTSD and flashbacks. Let me know if that's how you guys feel as well. I'd love to hear about it. So some early signs of flashbacks can be your surroundings getting fuzzy or separating from your surroundings and other people, so keep an eye out for that. Grounding is one of the best skills, like I said before, to help coping. Again, like I said, I will link a website that has a bunch of different ways to ground yourself to the present moment, but let me read you a few. So one thing you could do is take a short walk. Always going outside, going for a walk is always so rewarding and refreshing. Definitely helps. Moving your body, doing some stretches or exercising definitely does a lot for your body and mind. The 5-4-3-2-1 method is definitely a great one to try. I will put this on screen as well, but it's pretty much just a listing your senses. So you work backwards from 5. Do 5 things you hear, list 4 things you see, list 3 things you can touch from where you're sitting, list 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. You can think in categories. One of my favorite things I do, which I do often, is ABC category game, which I do rock bands. So A, AC/DC, B, Bon Jovi, C, CCR, D, Def Leppard, E, Eagles, and you go all the way to Z. So you can do that, but in any category. That is one of my favorite ones to do. And doing all these just help bring you to the present moment. It'll pull you away from that flashback and distract you and create a space from all of those unwanted feelings and distressing thoughts. It's just something really great to do. I will list this website that I'm looking at in the description box down below. It has all the different grounding techniques you can try. I definitely recommend trying all of them and then writing down the ones that worked best for you, because you may look at them and be like, yeah, that one don't sound great, but that could turn out to be the one that works best for you. Because I had to do that, and some of them that I thought was one I didn't really want to do was the one that really helps. So definitely try that. And never ever forget to ask for help or go to the doctors for treatment, because asking for help is so important. Don't keep things bottled up inside. I had to learn that, and I'm still working on that. The other night I had a nightmare flashback, and I called my boyfriend, and he helped when none of my coping skills were helping. Because that happens sometimes, that sometimes the stuff I'm doing don't work and I end up there distressed. But asking for help can come in handy. And going to the doctors, sometimes they may have things that we don't think of to help. Don't be alone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any other information you want to add, leave it in the comment section down below. If you guys have any questions, my email is always in the description box down below. Or if you want to tell me about your experiences with flashbacks and you don't want to put it in the comment section down below, you can always shoot me an email. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.